We're on. Yo, guys, welcome back to Tim's Trades. Just recorded a fucking video and my microphone was off. What an absolute bell end. What a bell end. Anyway, guys, I want to go through Bitcoin on the relatively short term, and then I've got some alts to run through, just some targets for you in case you're interested. So let's come onto the index. If you watched the last video, we were watching to see if regular bullish divergence was going to confirm on the 3 day. We got that. It was kind of a decent probability, so we got that. And so now my bias is certainly for a wee bit higher. Now, if you've been watching posts on X and stuff, you'll have seen the targets. They've been getting pretty much nailed, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm looking for, my bias is for a move to like 87, possibly its high point of 87, and then to see if it's going to pull back. And the important point is, if it does pull back from 87, where does it get picked up again? Because we could potentially go higher. Now, the original target was 85.5. That was just off a 1-to-1 from here. We got that pretty much nailed on the 1.618. Yeah, so no closures above there. It also happened to be one of the macro fibs or resistance fibs off this last high. So that move's done. And yesterday I was actually kind of wanting a move back, not necessarily as low as that, back to that 1-to-1, but let me get this off. It was 82, sort of 300 region is what I was looking for. So now I'm swithering. Whether, yeah, here, the 0.5 basically. And it looks like structurally that would be quite nice, you know. But Bitcoin's so nuanced. The alts are simpler, much simpler to trade. Yeah, so now I'm swithering right there because there's a move down here, and last night I'm sitting watching it, just banging off this 382 on this shorter term. Didn't get any closures below, so we got to move up. But is this a question? Is that high or low? And we're going to get one more stab lower before we go up, or do we go straight up? There's no way anyone's going to answer that. You just have to wait and see what price action gives you. And you know, basically I'm long and I'm holding it, and if we do get a move to the 82 region, I'll buy. And it's only, to be honest, invalidation's relatively far away for this move up, and it's going to be right down here at this 0.5. And if you remember on previous videos, we were doing the same, watching the same thing here. It got a wee bit below the 0.5, no major closures, and then we got the next leg up. So even if that happens, you've got to be watching potentially. And so in essence, this is what, you know, this is the tricky part of trading. You've got to wait for invalidation before your trade's null and void kind of thing. Anyway, in the meantime, you know, I would expect higher. That's my main buy. So I'm remaining long, and I'll just add into these wee dips. That's what I'm looking for Bitcoin. And I am still going to short up here. I said I will remain to the point. Now, if it wicks through, that's fine. Risk reward's still good, but I'm feeling like we're going to get it, because of this last high, kind of twice it touched this area, and we can see the rejection points. You know, you got 87, you got 87.8 as points where this can kind of get rejected. So there's a cluster of resistance up here, which I think maybe it'll get through first time. Maybe things get super bullish. Maybe some crazy news comes. Who knows? You know what crypto's like. But until that, I'll take a short there and just watch for where it gets picked up. Anyway, you know, based on the old 3-day bullish divergence, there are a number of alts, and I'm sure there's millions more than this, by the way, but these are some I'm interested in also jumping on longs with, and I've been in and out of longs the last few days, but I'll go through them quickly. Pendle, 3-day bullish targets. Again, all of these alts are pretty much sitting in the same. The charts are very similar. I'm hoping we get a pullback on Bitcoin to get me filled on, get a better entry on these, but you know, there's an option. It's like, take small positions and then buy into the dips. It's risky, depending on, you know, your leverage and all that kind of jazz. As I say, I've been in and out, and I'm tempted to maybe take some small positions, just tiny like margins, and then that way I've got room for manoeuvre going down here. But again, the bias is a wee bit higher based on your 3-day bullish divergence, and you know, just a general uptrend on these relatively short time frames. So entry, if we get it, between the 382 and the 0.5 on Pendle, 2.8 and 2.6, 2.7 really, or 2.9 and 2.7. And then the target, nice and simple, just up here. We're not getting too greedy at this stage, but the 382 at 386 or something, that would be fine for Pendle. Ondo, really similar. I would not maybe be as bullish as the 618 and get away up here at 112, but a really simple way to get more conservative targets is just running fibs off these wicks here, that'll do fine. And then you could get, yeah, you could get like the 618 here at $1, just over $1. That would be a nice wee trade. Link, you know, I was telling my guys on this one to buy down at 10, and I didn't take that long. Wish I had now, but you know, you can't win them all. Pullback. Let me come off the 3-day. Makes it a wee bit clearer. Yeah, this fair value gap's quite nice, and I like the structure of this. But I'm not suggesting we're going to get these. So don't be like looking at this video and then thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to wait for a pullback and jump on there. It might not come, guys. This is the difficulty. But if it does, these are buy areas. The 382 right on this wee value gap down to the 0.5. So anywhere between 12 and 11.7 would be a tidy buy. I would take that. Target wouldn't be too much higher, to be honest. Maybe the 786 at 14.7. Alright, that's Link Arkham. I got along down here last night holding that target just off this last here. Structurally, it's going to be hard to say. It's such a small cap, this one, and if this one can run, you know, it's going to be a trickier one because it's a small cap. I like what they're doing, you know, I like this project. Chart's weak on the longer term, I have to say, but I like what they're doing, so yeah, it's definitely potentially going to give us a wee, potentially double negatives, or just bullshit basically. Maybe the 618 would be fine. It's at 58, just for a scalp. Stick to the kind of scalping type targets. I've already got a box target on this one for virtuals. So virtuals we got filled, or I did down here, but it could. You know, there's potential for it to come down to that 236 at 51, and then give you a move to, you know, the 618 at 67, all the way potentially up to 74. Sui, yeah, got filled looking for 219 last night. Got so close, didn't quite get there. But anywhere down to 215, you know, would be a nice. And then targets up here in this box between 259 and 270 for Sui. Cardano. Yeah, bought here. Actually took profit on it. Kind of thinking Bitcoin would come down, but you know, it might not. You know, it could just keep going here. But anywhere down to the 382 would be nice from Cardano. Even the 0.5, you can see this fair value gap on the 12 hour. So yeah, it's a tricky one because we don't know if we're going to get the pullback. But I'd put some buys in there. You know, that would be a tidy risk reward. You know, especially if it gave you the 0.5 that'd be a nice move up to the 786 at 70, just under 72 cents for Cardano. Sol, it's been weak as shit, but yeah, it's still worth a trade if it gives you a move to that 382, 120 to 120 to maybe the 161 region, possibly the 170 region. But again, it needs to take out this high here, and if Bitcoin gets stuck under the last high, then it might just be something like the 142 and it rolls over. So you'd have to keep an eye on Sol because it has been a bit weaker. XDC, yeah, fair value gap seems to get this one, but yeah, just between the 382 and the 0.5, so that's 0.073 to 0.071. Target, you could say, still under that last high there. Yeah, 0.09 would be fine for XDC. Casbah, looking similar to other charts, this triple top here. Yeah, if it gave you the red line, that's where I've got that, and an alarm there for a buy on Casper at the 382, 0.069. Try along there, and then yeah, targets up here. If things get going, 786 would be just 10 cents. That'd be tidy. CTC targets this box here at 0.053 to 0.55, 0.53 to 0.55. Target, maybe the red line, that's what I've got that there for, 0.68, but I mean, it might get stopped depending on how bearish things are, because you've got a bit of resistance here structurally. It already maybe kind of got stuck there, which is this. But I move at least to the 618, which is still a tradable move. Like, it maybe doesn't look much, but yeah, 15% at 50x, that's tidy. BNB, buy in here if we get it. It's been relatively strong, BNB. So the 382 is currently 569. Target, maybe just somewhere under this cluster, 625 for a scalp. If we break this high, then you're getting up to 686 region. Finally, IOS. It's a funky wee chart, this one. Again, there's your box for buy, and if we get it, it'll depend on Bitcoin heavily or just the general market. It's given us a move from down to pretty much exactly 382, worked through the 382, didn't quite pick up the... I like this support here though in terms of structure, one tabs, because it's blasted up here. Oftentimes price could come and retest what was resistance for quite a long time and then boost up. Targets for this one, it's yeah, different kind of structure than other ones, but yeah, conservatively you can see that the wick took you up to that 786 or the 886, and I don't know, maybe this high here, if we run some fibs off of that high, I mean conservatively, this is a trickier one, to be honest. This is a tricky one. I wouldn't be inclined to necessarily take a long on this one, but it's there, and it could come into, I mean, between the 618 and the 0.5. So still a nice tradable move there if Bitcoin gets bullish up to, come on, oh my god, my ruler, what you doing? You know, from here it's still full. That's still 34% actually. That's a banging move. Anyway, guys, I didn't like to drivel on too long on my movies. Let's see what happens with Bitcoin today. What's happening at the moment? What am I doing on the wee short terms here? Coming down a wee bit. Still would like a you know, 82 300 area. That is my kind of, yes, I'm going to buy here. Watch what happens, and yeah, take it from there, kind of thing. Anyway, if you like the video, guys, like and subscribe. If you want me to look at any alts, just chuck them in the old comments. Okay, see you next time. Cheers.